Good evening, everyone, and morning to Archnin. And hello, Jack. At least Mark hasn't beat me here and can comment on being late and all that. Hello, Towering Titan, and hello, Mr. Stander. And Tavern Wars as well. Good evening to everyone. I'm going to be continuing on with the fish houses tonight and the fish buildings. They are all dry, as you can see. I have them all in a box ready to go. So we're going to get some woodwork done and some bits and pieces. So that's the bits for tonight. I haven't had any new bits and pieces turn up, and I didn't manage to get Quick Beam built today, unfortunately. I ended up doing a lot of work for the getting the business running and getting the business going forward. Having to change over lots of accounts. Tiring. Hey, hello Mark. Late as usual. So yeah, it's taken us a bit of time to get odds and sods sorted out. Where's your money? Probably the same place as mine. In are you telling Malta shush, Mark? I can see a fight in there. Aren't you meant to be paying me as well, Mark? Not Mark Fair, but I'll call you Mal. Aren't you meant to be paying me, Mal? That's how this thing works. Yes, I saw the planes getting built and painted. And let's have all them out the box. The box can go into recycle. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on with some painting. And so we'll go to the painting camera. We have houses. I think the middle ones are a little bit proud, but they should flatten out, and they're all perfect. So that is cool. Wow. Can I give a rebate on that? Or a refund? Refund. Yeah, how do I get a refund? Images. I'm just trying to bring up a picture of Lake Town. I know some of it had frost and snow and ice all over it, but I just want a normal version. You've been hanging around with Tom too much. So Lake Town seems to be very monotone, all a little bit more grey and washed out brown than that. The Master's house obviously is a lot nicer. From film, similar. Yeah, I can go with that. Dark, very dark brown roofing, lighter brown on the boards. Nine years? I haven't known you 9 years. I can't have known you that long. I don't even know what. There's quite a few things come up lately where I've lost track of people, times, where we are, who we are. Yes. Right, it's going to be a dry brush fest on some of this, so I need a colour for the wood. A good wood colour that's also good at dry brushing. XV88? Gorfang brown. I think Gorfang might be a bit bright, you know. So what I'm going to do is use the bottom of the board. I think that might work with a wash over the top of it. Not Tesseract. But what I do need is a spatula. So what I'm going to do is spatula some of the it's Citadel Gorfang brown. It does look quite orangey bright brown, but I think it is going to be good, hopefully. So I'm using a huge brush. It's a Boldmere 1 inch, and it's a very soft brush. It's good for, it's one of my good dry brushes for doing scenery and stuff. I don't know if it's going light enough. It's not Tesseract brown, I'm telling you. There you go. And obviously I think I'll wash over afterwards. If it's too bright, if it's way too bright, I'll probably do a nulling wash or a 50-50 nulling and maybe it's green to change the colour of it to, like, at least on these bits where it's like a slimy brown that's been covered in water and stuff like that. So this is just to give it its highlight and the bright colours from it. Not too bothered about all of this because I'll get that with other colours later. And where you can't get into dry brush as much, like in these bits here, it'll serve as like a shadow. So I'm not too worried about getting into those bits. So underneath, I'm just going to do the edges. Reichland Flesh Wash. That gives quite a yellowy orange glow. It would brighten up the brown. So if I wanted quite a bright brown, then yeah. What I'm looking at on the Lake Town photos is more of a like a green sea colour brown and stuff like that. So that's going to do for the base colour, and then we hit it with maybe it's a mix, a 50-50 mix of nulling and one of the green colours. Does that make sense? Yeah. I've not found a really good wood. I haven't got a really good wood wash. But worst comes to the worst, if it is still too bright, I can just get the airbrush out with a wash, put the wash through the airbrush and give it a tint the whole thing. But I've got the main contrast of the light and the dark browns of the wood. So I'm going to do the shingles in, I might actually just a bit like that, and then I'm going to hit that with a red as well. Yeah. You are laughing, but when I made some washes, I actually used the Run Seal 1 coat for it, and I made some scenery washes from it. So I don't know if anyone is watched or has seen, but we launched a giveaway for Flesh and Blood about an hour ago on the trade group. If you've got me on the friends list, you'll have seen I've just shared it. We're giving away one of the cold foil cards. Really, really, really rare piece. I've seen a couple on eBay for a couple of £100 each, so it's a very nice card if you want to get your hands on it. Very nice game as well if you want to get your hands on that. A little bit of mist colouring. Again, it's scenery. It doesn't really want to be a Picasso or anything like that. A quick cover with a dry brush should really bring the colours out. And also, not to mention getting covered in brown paint. Yay, Jack. Have you seen what class it is, Jack? Yeah. keep snapping that and breaking that. Right, and now the house. So, other than Paul, have people been working on anything this week? I know Paul's been doing his boats and stuff. No, I took the end off, Paul. It's there, ready to go back on at some point. It was being a pain before the glue even set and before I could even actually knock it. So I took it off so I knew where it was and didn't lose it. I'm going to get the paint down, then I'm going to super glue it. I actually did it on the stream because I knew you would pick up that I'd knocked it off. Good evening, Tomo. Good evening. Who else joined? Corn. Blood Bowl team while listening to Tom waffle on about eBay reviews. Ask Tom when he's bringing my dice over. See what sort of response you get. Yes, it's just Gorfang Brown over the black green. The black, brown black, sorry. You're so nice to him, help him out so much, and he won't even sort me out with some dice that he never even uses. You said never. I see that as a challenge. You never use them. You never play games. Ah, cool. We did a week of Corvus's stuff. They sent us some bits and pieces, and we painted the the Doctor Strange's house, donut shop and a couple of other bits. X-Wing dice. Right. So yeah, as I say, I'm gonna go over this in like red. Their shale's dead dark and black, and I just want something a bit different. I want it different to the actual woodwork, so I'm just thinking of a red shale roof. Maybe a dragon could sit on top of it and hide. My arm's killing. Oh, it's not had this much exercise since I was 19. So I have got patch work on it. I don't want it all looking the same all over sort of thing. I don't think I was actually. Right. What red have we got to mix in with that? I am thinking this could work. So this is actually the Chimera colours, pure pigment, and it is a magenta. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to clean the brush. I'm going to leave the brown in there, and I'm going to that's actually coming the colour that I want. Let's see how it dry brushes. Yeah, there's a couple that I'm after. They did a couple of like special sets for some painters. I've been trying to find them, and I've not seen them come up. They had some on eBay a few months back, and I just didn't have the money to be lavish and get a load. So, very much like we do with the zenithal highlighting, what's happened there is all of the tips have gone a fairly brightish red, and all of the deep bits have stayed the darker colour. Which again is exactly what I wanted. It's the sort of finish that it would. Years of practice? That's even worse. Yeah, I was thinking that, Mark. So, just so you can see, I'll move this out the way. That is what I've got. So that's the Gorfang brown that's basically pushed onto there, and I've put the magenta straight onto it. Oh, right. Now I don't like you, Archnin. Yeah, it's the two signature sets. So, that's literally all I've done. Ducorn is... That's the last of the purple. I'll put some more purple down. But I scrub off loads of it. So, when you put it on your hand, you're literally only getting a little bit. I use them. They're a bit expensive, but they're not this type of dry brush. There's a different style to them, if that makes sense. These Bold Mirror ones are from... Oh, what's it called? For scenery, anyway. They're about £1 for a pack of 8. But it's also... Yes. See if you can find me one of them signature sets as well, Archnin. Because I'm never going to find one over here. Yeah, most of my work is dry brush work. All of the scenery that we do is dry brush, and I do like, as probably one of my mentors in doing dry brushing and scenery and stuff like that, he basically loves the big box big brush big brush painting, and he does some fantastic work with dry brushes and stuff like that. Oh wow, that's a lot. Balls me, is a definite feasible, yeah. Maybe a patron video. Basically, mate, it is... That's it. Put the paint on. And this is just like a strong cloth. Just strong blue wipe. It's not the standard blue wipe, it is a little bit stronger. And then it's just lightly. If you do it light, you can always put more on. If you go too heavy and splodge a lot of it on, it just goes bleh. So there we go, a bit under the... It also helps to have a good piece to do it on. Not every piece of scenery out there, not every miniature out there is going to take well to dry brushing. No, I'm not looking. No. 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 Fad Archnin. Stop showing me pretty colours. No. Where they're from? Catch you in a bit, Archnin. They're Euros prices as well, which is pretty good. So what I'm going to try and do is... That's not going to work. So I'm going to clean that brush off. Oh, I didn't do the roof. I can do the roof with the small one. Yeah, I've got the... Army Painter dry brushes, Corn. Excuse me. Sorry. So, Army Painter and the Opus, to me, they've been very little difference in the thing, other than that set's 16 quid and that set's 50 quid. There is a huge price difference, and I think for my level, I haven't really seen much difference. I'll use the Army Painter one now. And they are slightly different to use. And this is less a dry brush and more a stipple. So I'll see if I can do that. Yeah, definitely a squeaky floorboard. So when you have no texture, stippling with a dry brush does build texture up. If that makes sense. Try and get a bit more. There we go. Let that dry off a bit. So the toilet door that I missed. So I'm just going to use the... So the other thing, when you think you've got a colour that you're going to dry brush that isn't going to... Oh, that picked it up really well. Sorry. Pick the colour up very well. Do the lighter colour. So you're going to do it all, as I've done it, all in the brown, but don't leave the roof tiles. Give the roof tiles a quick blast so you get depth in it. Yeah, Mark, it's scenery. It's I can only take part of the credit. GW put really nice textures onto their scenery. It is relatively easy to hammer through and get colours done and shades done and all that sort of stuff. So the time consuming bit will be picking out all of the little baskets and all of that sort of stuff afterwards. If I was doing this for if I was running an event and needed to get it out quick, it wouldn't be far off done at that mark. Probably what I would do is probably splash over a wash. So I'm going to do that now. What I am going to do is, without the aid of a safety net, I'm going to look for an empty pot of wash. Have spares. So I have Agrax, new tub of Nullin, and Baltan Green, I think. So that's 2 to 1. That's 2 to 1 Agrax. Is there any empty-ish pots? Corellia Green Shade. Would Corellia Green Shade be a better green because it's deeper? Yeah. So, bear with me one moment. I'm just going to go and get a pot. And here's some I prepared earlier. Or here's some I'm going to definitely spill all over. So the other thing with doing this is I'm going to be hopefully buying some more of these and doing more. So if I did a wash specifically for it, that would help me recreate it next time round. So it is a little bit expensive because you're wasting a couple of pots, but the number of buildings that I'll probably end up doing, their work, is I can just keep these as pots, so to speak, for scenery. So, I knew I shouldn't have done that. So, 1 to that point. To that point. Yeah. So they've got about the same in each. And I'll keep that pot for... Oh, that's got some... what I'm going to add as well is the Airbrush Medium. Just to thin it down a little bit. Pop the same, and then add in Nullin, and we'll see where it goes from that. So if I was wanting it more wood coloured, I would not do the Nullin and I'd probably do Agrax instead, but I want it to go very dark, very like it's like in the movies sort of thing. It looks very dark and dingy and horrible and slimy and yeah. And put the lids on. Oh, in fact, let's have a bit more. Sometimes I would possibly use lamium for this, but as I've got the AB medium, so I don't know if you can see that it's got a green tint to it, but it's like a very, very dark green now. I think I could go into making my own Games Workshop colours. So, let's have the palette out. we can have that out the way for now. And the other thing I'm going to do is switch over to a messy one, because obviously I don't really want my nice shiny new cutting mat. So the best way to go about it as well is always start with a small piece, because if it does look wrong and horrible, you can always quickly redo that one. Whereas if you do it on the house, you're sat there and wondering how you're going to repaint it all. Right, that's interesting, because that's just pulled all the paint off. So that has actually pulled the dry brush off. So I'm just wondering if I need to seal it. Let's try that again. Or do I just dab it on and not brush it over? I think actually that might do some good. So it has actually started to pull the paint. I think we've reactivated the dry brush, which isn't actually a tremendous problem. So yeah, we're getting the gloopy, the like dirty look that I wanted, but what we can do now is, if it's reactivating it, let's have a bit. So we can actually pull it back. Yes, it has. It looks like old algae. If we need to pick up a bit more of it and get some of the areas where we have scrubbed off, it's just a quick dry brush again. So it's nothing major. A couple of patches on it. It's actually come out all right, looking at that. So even with the bright red, that dulls it back off massively. I'm not going to do the house in this wash. I'm going to seal the house first. Yeah, unfortunately, if you sign up to it, you also get Nigerian princes asking you for your credit card details so you can pay your credit card bill. Where is the spray can? Aha. So what I'm going to do. So, quick blast of Testors dull coat over it all. Sealing the dry brush first. Not doing a too thick a coat, just enough to stop the paint from disappearing. Oh, I'm using it. Where's the messy one? Oh, there's another messy one there. Hey. So. Yeah, he just wants to pay everyone's bills. He's such a nice guy. Oh, I've just realised he was here. What have I done to deserve this? So we have a boot, and oh god, that's strong. The spray is really strong. I don't know if you can see how that roof's gone now. You can just see it there without the light. It's got the reddish colour, but it's also got the stain of dirt and grime and that sort of stuff. I think some of this I think that's gone back to the plastic. Starting to go off that primer quite a bit. It's been sat drying for 2 days, and for it to pull it like that, I've never had that before. Let's see if you can go. So you can see there. That looks like it is back to the plastic, which means the primer hasn't bit. It is the Pro Acryl range for the airbrushes. It's been hyped massively in America, but I'm having nothing but trouble with it so far. You're having to leave it for about a day for it to dry. Whereas anything else I use, the only reason I was using it is because the black brown colouring is really nice, but not when it's just peeling straight off, so to speak. And I've never had to prime. How brave am I feeling? Oh, why, Mark? About trying to rescue that. I have plans to try and rescue it, but it's not going to be neat and tidy. So I never panic. The worst that comes to it, yeah, we tried it. The paint's fantastic, Mark. The paint that I've got from them, absolutely brilliant. It's not as good as that stuff. If you can get hold of that stuff, that is the phenomenal. Tide lines around the house are easy. Any of the agrax or nullin or stuff like that, straight through the airbrush. We tide line, or when we do scenery, and I've done it on all of the stuff, all of the 40k stuff we've done for Lazy Dragon. it was all of the buildings, the mech administrating buildings, and we just did the buildings, put them on a base, based them all with our supersonic grit that we make ourselves, and then go down the route of do the dry brush, do a full wash over the entire model, and then once the wash is done, we airbrush about an inch and a half all around the bottom in either Agrax or Nullin, and that just gives like a tide mark around the bottom, so it looks as though it's got shadows at the bottom. It's really easy, and it is, yes, it's very effective. And I probably would do it on the buildings for this anyway, so I can show you. With this stuff not drying so quick, I might not be able to show you this week, but I will. I'll show you how it works, so to speak. So I don't know what to do now because that's all painty and wet. So I don't think there was much. There's not much gone up in the gallery, but I know Scott's here, and if you wanted to impress Scott, you could always put your photos of your toes up in the gallery for Scott to go and have a look at. He'd love that. He's the admin of the big UK page. I don't know if you've heard of it, called Only Toes. But yeah. And what we can actually do is, for his next stream, for his stream, we can send some Only Toes. Yeah, Only Toes. That's the one. Don't even Google it, please, for the love of God. Oh, that could end up in all kinds of... No, that's going to end up in all kinds of... They pay well. Thing is, isn't Mark's toes like Hobbit toes? I'm just going through some... Where is Big Bearded Beast? I know. HairyToes.com? I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I think Catherine has his computer and playing games. So I don't think... I don't think he's available tonight, or he would have had all kinds of fun. Sorry, I'm just looking at this stuff that Archinin sent. I don't even know that one. So, let's have a look. What else were we doing? I could get on with a bit of the Black Dragon, I think. Because it's probably going to be an hour off drying. So... I was just about to say, I need to fix the ears on the dragon and then snapped one off. So, let's have a look at getting this dragon fixed. His ears are a mess, so let's start again on the ears. or the horns. We're about to get a history lesson off, or not a history lesson, a lesson about Lord of the Rings and all the dragons and wizards again from Lazy Dragon Gaming. And how I hear it's a good oh god, they're not ears anyway, the horns. So yes, we need Martin again for the comments for that one. Let's have the super glue off them. So where's the knife? And where Kinger is tonight. I think I just snapped a knife blade. I did. That'll be interesting. So I've dug out a bit of the ear. So that should fit in there a lot better than it did. That's cool. So that one's ready to go. Ooh. Nope, can't get into it. So I'm going to have to be a pair of snips and hope for the best. And now the knife. I shouldn't be trusted with a knife. So as they say, my work here is done. Right, now that is a lot better. So if I get my super glue and activator out, that's already here. I've no idea. We were just discussing the finer points of dragons and Lord of the Rings wizards again. And how to drop dragon horns. Which, if I can do that, I think I've managed to get it. Yeah. I didn't butcher anything. I just knew you would be triggered if I mentioned butchering the law this time. Right, where is... Well, them sticks will do. It does mean, though, I'm going to have to repaint some of the Black Dragon. And I do know there wasn't a Black Dragon in Lord of the Rings. An old brush to clean that off. So where were the dragons from? I know there's the cave drake and stuff like that, but there was, according to Games Workshop, which I'm presuming aren't as accurate as a lot of things, they did show 2 dragons at some point. I may have... They're in my basket. The only problem is I need a... Oh, God. I hate you, Archnet. Right, I think that might be dry enough to get the airbrush on it with some black primer. £18.50 for delivery. I could fly to Germany and get it quicker and cheaper. Oh, I've got... I need to strip and clean my airbrushes. So I've got no idea why I've never just gone down the route of trying to make my own mixed colour primer with the black and adding a bit of brown into the colour later. I should have maybe done that. Yes, Archnin, I've bought them. You're a bad man. To be honest, I hadn't looked in a couple of weeks to see if anything anything had come through on it, or any more had appeared. Mark, you've met me, right? It's not zero impulse control, it's the fact that that's paint I've been after for 6 to 8 months. I've got the base set, I've got the base range, and it's my most used paint. Obviously when I'm painting on stream I try to keep it GW, Vallejo and stuff like that that's readily available, but when I'm painting a lot of my own stuff I always revert back to the Chimeras. They just work. Does that make sense? Right, I've just gone over those with a little bit of black to try and blend it in a bit, just so it's not as bad. And oh, I didn't fill that water bottle up. I've got no paint cleaner. Oh yeah, okay, that's okay. Yeah, it's strange. You don't need much of it. You can put it on a wet palette and it lasts weeks. And the pigment content on it is through the roof. They are called pigment colours, and I don't think they're far wrong about being pigment colours. The only things that I've seen close to them, and my set's disappeared, is the GW pigment set that they did for a couple of months. That has very similar makeup to it, if that makes sense. It's just you're meant to add it to a metallic colour or a colour to increase the pigment. You're not meant to use it straight out the pot for painting. But a lot of people have picked up how good it is straight out the pot for painting. And we have the Eshin Grey somewhere. Oh, that's Dawnstone Grey. Eshin Grey. It is. If I could, to be honest, actually, if I could stock it, it'd be on our shelf. I rate it massively. But when I've talked to them, they never seem to have enough stock. It is very old Archning. And there were half pots. It was called the tint set or the tint range. and it was, yeah, I don't think I used it how it was meant to be used, but it was good how I was using it. But they're like 50 quid as well. I even think I got my, I know I got one from Beanies because I had it on pre-order. I think I went into Harlequins back when it was Preston, and hey, there we go. Like the usual thing with Harlequins, it always seemed to be quite a little treasure trove. There you go, Artificer tint set. So you even got stickers of each one of the colours to put a square to put how much of a drop that you'd put in with whatever you'd put it in, so you could keep track of it. And yeah, the basics of it were you could reinforce the reds, you could take the black to a blue hue, you could take the red to 3 lots, basically take the Jericho orange, put 3 lots of yellow into it, and you get a lot sun type of orange, the green to a lighter green. But there was loads of combinations. When we were doing one of our commissions for FFG, we needed a quick white. So we took the, can't remember what it's called, but it's the very bright, the very light cream that they did in the foundation paints, and I scooped a full tub of white into it, and basically from that we got probably the brightest white that would just coat anything. We were coating over black undercoat and it was just coating straight away without a problem. And that's what I used. I think I used probably 2 whites in doing that, and that's why I've got some other. I do have the rest of them kicking about, part used and that, but that's the new one. As I say, I think that's the one that I acquired from Lazy Dragon, or as it was back then. Yeah, so I'm going to go with some Screaming Skull and touch up some of the, get a proper brush. I'm going to hit up some of the bone, the claws and stuff. So I could probably do with the Terminatus stone for that. What is going on with that brush? Have I managed to kill a brush? A bit of a weird one. I'll have to have a look into that. Not that one. Too big. Take it back. What's going on with these brushes? That's the second one to split. I'm wondering if it's the paint a bit thick. That's better. I don't paint metal models that often. Just feeling the weight of it in your hands is like worrying that every 2 seconds you're going to drop it. Catch you later, Mark. Cheers for being on board tonight. What time is it? Whoa, I didn't even realise the time. Go. So this one is the one that he was on last night as well. I should have been painting it last night when he was here. This is the one that Steve Christian gave me. He was quite impressed to see it actually getting painted rather than just being a doorstop for his desk. There you go. Toes. Painting toes, Scott, just for you. So it's just picking out each one of the big claws on his toes. I'm thinking of actually doing Space Marines next month. I haven't done anything 40k for quite some time, so I was thinking of doing some of the relatively easy ones and going with Imperial Fists. Tackle the yellow, because I may have some work to do that maybe needs to be yellow, and Imperial Fists. So the claws are quite easy to do. It's just going to be screaming skull. Why was I going to call it scream? Oh, it's because bloody Skaven screaming skull. And then over the top of it, we're going to do Seraphim Sepia, just to give it the old bone look to it. And then, as I'm sure you can see, there's a lot of rock work in between the toes and stuff like that. That'll get picked up by when we do the scenery and the scenic mud. So some of the claws will get hidden by some scenic mud going onto them or in between them and stuff like that. So I'm not spending ages picking out every bit of detail that I can. As long as you get the top bit that's showing through, then it should come through all right. Oop. I'm trying to twist it round as I do it. Also, trying to go on quite thick with the Screaming Skull over black is quite interesting. So don't need to go too daft with it. I will do the ears again. But just the top part so you can actually see it a bit. Teeth, I think. Teeth and tongue. So I'm going to do the tongue in the cream and then get the red in there anyway. So there we go. So again, that's going to be Caribou Crimson, and then all of the palette up there, it needs quite a bit of paint because it's quite well ridged, and some water. There we go. It's thinned out nicely. Again, it will just get filled up with like tongue colour and that sort of stuff. But what I do need to do is get all the teeth while we're in here. Oop, just nearly dropped him. And then obviously after we've done two of the teeth are bent up. So yeah, after we're done with it and got the red in, we'll go back over and get the highlights on the mouth, or the teeth at least. So, but yeah, I've got a year to prepare for it though, Tomo. So I've just done the eyes in the same, just to give it a light shade. They're going red anyway, but if I do them in this now and give it a bit of a base coat, when I apply the red, it'll show up really nicely. So that is that. Right, sepia. wash. And a decent wash brush. Not that one. Oh, I've got one. There it is. Yeah, I just want it now though, Tomo. Really, I've had another couple of looks at it and I was like, yeah. It might make me a little bit skinned. In fact, it might make me a lot skinned, depending on what comes with it and all that sort of stuff. But I'll definitely get a lot of videos out of painting them. I do enjoy painting the dragons. I don't know. I think it's the natural thing of them, that the skin and the toes and that sort of stuff. The claws, sorry, not the toes. Bloody Scott's got me on only toes mode. There we go. And Carroburg, if I can find it. Fusion Orange, Reichland, Carroburg. Yeah, that was my big worry. Right, I'll let that dry and then I can get the teeth again at some point. It's already gone in. Yeah, that's. I need embasing. What time is it? I need to time for that. Yeah, catch you soon, Archnan. Thanks for popping by. Definitely, we'll be back next Wednesday, 100%. Hopefully, get the stream goal met and get the scenery given away. So a quick look. Cool. And that's sorted. Cool. That's all running. Just keep me to check on where stuff's getting moved around and stuff like that. Cool. So that's that. That is that. Right. Have any of these dried enough so I can get in at them, and it's not too bad. Now we can see how the red's gone, and it looks faded and worn and stuff like that, and that's spot on. But I need something on that wood just to bring it back to being looking like wood. And it's wet, so I'm not going to attempt that just yet. There's definite damp, so it's going to have to clean up.
Coffee?
Oh, yeah, if you insist.
Got you some sandwiches there.
For tonight?
Yeah, because we know you haven't had much.
Yeah, that sounds... Oops.
Ignoring you.
Fixed it. Fixed it.
Ignoring you. Oh, how dare you.
Fixed it. So apparently I'm in the Discord channel, and I managed to unmute it to annoy Ash. Hi Ash. Right, so dragon is getting there. I just need to do the eyes, and then the basing. I don't know what to do on the basing for this one. That one's got the brown and the floor and that sort of stuff on. I'm not sure what to do on this one. Yeah, interesting. I wish they would dry a lot quicker. So I tell you what we will do though. The house should be dry. So yeah, that's it seems to have dried up. Let's get the wash on that wherever I've put it. I'm going to try I'm just going to do the bottom bit first with a small brush and see if that changes any of it. So it's just the wash that we sat and made earlier. I'm hoping because we've got the sealer on there now, it won't scrub off any of the colour and it will just add to it. As I say, I'll come back in and get all of the accessories and stuff after with different colours and then wash them a bit better. So that looks like it's working. Sorry. So you can see there where we're getting the decking that's starting to look a bit worn and used. So I will start doing all of that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coffee. And as I say, with the green tint in there, it really does pick up as if it's like, as Mark said, algae covered. So like most of the stuff that was in Lake Town, it was all the fishing, it was all of the algae, it was all of the stuff from the sea sort of thing. So it's a cracking colour that it's ended up becoming. And it's nicely running off onto areas as well. Now we've got the sealer on, that's actually adding to the effect, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. Don't think you can actually see the green as well, the green tint to it. So it's just probably 10% Veltan green in a wash mixed with Nulling oil, and it just gives that. Yeah, it's just another one of those ones that I knew what I wanted. I didn't know how to achieve it straight away. So I did have a think about it. And it was a bit of an experiment. As soon as I saw it in the tray, it was the right colour for me, if that makes sense. If I'd needed it changing, then that wouldn't have been a problem. I could have just quickly added a bit of green or added a bit of brown or whichever colour I needed to add, sort of thing, to get it to more to what I wanted. As I said, me and Jack have done this a few times. I've had nothing to paint on a stream. Oh, I've done it on my new. So I've had like nothing to actually paint when I've come to do a stream, and I've just got a handful of paints and started messing around with them. Too late. And we've had some cracking results from the back of it. Cadbury's Purple being one of them. Managed to find a recipe to do Cadbury's Purple. Yeah, that's... There you go. And you can see it stains it and leaves a tint of green on it, but then it also starts running down the building, so you're getting the actual main use of a wash. And as I've said before, if it's not a Forge World piece that you're spending £100 on buying, have a play around, see what it comes out like. For every good piece, I probably have an equal number of bits that I've trashed. Everyone was here when I did the Cath Scarlet in the metallic red, and it just kept the paint reacted. The stuff I was trying just didn't work, and I ended up just throwing the whole ship in the bin. I'm not saying it happens that way all the time, but it can. But just playing around, and the number of things that we've made and that's come out really well compared to the bits that we've had to bin, it's probably 10 to 1. There you go. So yeah, I'm trying not to touch bits. So that's how the red looks now without that. It's gone dark and gritty. It's not as bright. The good thing with a wash is you can get your highlights on and you can get your top coat down, so you're doing the bright edging and stuff like that, and that does look a bit in your face, but as long as you know you're doing a wash afterwards, and I think the best person that captured how to do it is Kenny Boucher from Next Level. He basically says you do the highlights, you do the airbrushing, and you do all of the detail work that you do before putting a wash on, and you take it to 11, and then you wash it back down and bring it back down to the 10. And that has, since watching it, that has really stuck. Being able to, the piece goes quite bright and it looks quite gaudy and stuff like that, and you sat there going, ooh, that's too bright. Put the wash on, boom, straight back to how it should be or how you wanted it to be. But yeah, I do like that. And the other part of it is 9 out of 10 times I come to this point and go, oh wow, that looks really good, and I surprise myself a lot of the time. And let's have that over here to drip dry. Oh, come on, dragon. So the other really good paint for wash for doing that sort of stuff is the Army Painter inks. My only problem is I'm out of them. I've literally ran out of the colours that I've been using because I used them on a load of scenery. They've got great, absolute fantastic staining qualities. You've seen the metallic Mandalorian I did, where we painted it bright silver, and K2SO as well, where you just lightly airbrush over the top with a with one of their inks, and they come out fantastic. They are it's like putting a filter over the top of a colour so if you do the zenithal highlighting, then you put that over the top as a filter, it comes out really well. So the dragon's starting to dry as well. Oh, let's have a look. Where is... I'm going to go for dark earth texture. So, standard Vallejo stuff. I'm just going to use the dark one. So I've got one on a brown, and then I'm going to have one on a grey. Which needs the ruler. Which I've probably put away. I have. For ages I was using the GW one just to get all of the big parts down, and it's like, it's taking forever. That's all gone hard around the edge. And then I just picked up that, yeah, just use a big ruler. Get the majority of it down. Bit like that. You don't have to go to the edges or close to the detail. You use the small one for that. But if you get the majority of it down, with a big brush to start with, you sometimes find big lumps in the paint. And then you just go through it. And let's have a push around of mud. So just pick a spot, start from it, and if you're filling all of the gaps under where, like on this one, there's gaps under his feet. Then just a quick stippling motion over the top. Once you've got it laid flush, just do a quick stippling motion so you can get it. It basically goes more like mud than peanut butter on a base that's been spread over like butter. If you can stipple it, you get away from the marks in that you inevitably leave in it. There we go. And obviously when it dries, it does settle a bit as well. All of the Vallejo stuff does. There's a load there, so I should be able to get all of this done. And then once it all dries, you get the chance to go around the edge and scratch off any overlap or any spillage from the edge. obviously the cost saving between this and the GW stuff. The GW stuff's great. It's just expensive. It is more readily available. You can walk into places like Beanies and Lazy Dragon Gaming and just pick it up off the shelf. Well, you can pick this up in Lazy Dragon Gaming because they've got this on the shelf now as well. But all of the GW stuff seems to always be in stock at the stores and stuff. Even the small stores with the small paint ranges seem to have the basing materials. So they are more readily available, but they're also, well, very expensive compared to this. And we switched to this because just of the cost and the amount that we were going through. We were probably using 20 bottles of the GW stuff a month, possibly more. I remember I was buying it in packs of 6, and I can remember going down a couple of times in the same week for some of it, for Sterling Mud or whatever it's called now, Quagmire. It's probably all made in the same factory anyway. So that is the Mud Down. The only downside to the Vallejo ones is it comes in one big pot. Some people see it as a downside to have a big pot, but when that big pot is £9 and the GW pots, which are the same size as the wash, are £5, it's economic sense just to buy a big pot. Even if you then decant it into little ones, if you're just wanting little ones. But yeah, that is that. Oh. The coffee is good. Good coffee. Right. I think I'm going to clean the bottom of the dragon while I haven't got glasses on because my eyes. There we go. And then he can go back up on the shelf for now. And what time do we have? It's 8:55. I'm at a natural end. I think I don't have much between now and the next lot to do anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it there for the night. Thank you everyone for popping by tonight. It's been a pleasure chatting as I paint. This weekend we have our first Flesh and Blood main event, so if anyone's wanting to join in and learn Flesh and Blood, we are having a cam event over at Protec Cards. The tickets are up there. They're nearly sold out because I've run out of decks. If you have cards and want to come along and join us, it is 1 o'clock UK time. But if you have a card pool, we have got the deck lists that you can use, and you can come along and join in and just have a bit of fun. It's more about teaching everyone to play, building our local community, extending our local community's reach to other stores. There's a few other stores having people come round or come over. So if you're interested in Flesh and Blood, we'll be over there on Sunday. Drop us a message. Get into Discord, have a chat in Discord. We will see you all then. But in the meantime, if you're not there at the weekend, we will see you next Wednesday. In the meantime, everyone, stay safe and take care. Catch us all soon.